Hello YouTube and newsletter subscribers, this is Terrell from Terrell3.com and today is January 22nd, 2015. This is the Black Star Update Report connected to volume number 4 of Terrell's 2015 newsletter. Looking at the abbreviated chart, I'm going to spend a little bit of time up here in my descriptions because this is history repeating itself. It's just repeating itself about 21 days later than last year. See these two values below 200, 2.5 to 4 magnitudes. Remember, these are my indicator quakes. The value, the week leading up is 211. That was on the downtick. We're seeing the same thing for this recent cycle. Here's the backside alignment event, the 15th of November. Then see these high values, 330, 308. Well, you're not going to see any values higher than that because they're going to go down. That's what we remember. If you guys remember, I finally added this B in the middle of November. And I said now they're going down. And where are they going? They're going between 180 and 190 to the bottom. That prediction was made when we were still getting 300 per week. Okay, now you're watching the values go down, 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 down. Here we are, and you get a bounce when you get a large drop. You see this large drop from 250 to 227, then you get a bounce. Well, this recent week, this is what I told you. You only went down from 244 to 239 last week, which means we're going down again, which we did. 219. Now we have another jump 20 that went down. This value is going to wind up around 180, 185 maybe, something like that. So there appears to be room. I'm looking, see now we're in the middle of January. Shoot, we're in the third week of January. The lull period will begin around February the 1st. We're about to pass between, if you look up right at midnight straight up, you're going to be looking at Jupiter. And we're getting ready to pass between the Sun and Jupiter. That's going to kick off some of these 6 magnitude earthquakes. You see where we are now? 6 magnitude earthquakes. We're at 0. So you're seeing decreases in the chart across the board. 1 down to 0. Here's the 5 magnitude earthquakes. You see how they decrease? 30, 29, 26, 24. This is what's expected. Same thing with these indicator quakes. 219. You see this big old gigantic 554? That was from last year. We're going to see a big number like this, but 21 days later, 3 weeks later, this big number is going to reappear in the chart. We are not there yet, are we? The reason, if we go to solar system scope, then I can kind of show you what's going on here. Okay, look at the Libra constellation behind Saturn. This is where Earth was in position around November the 15th, behind the Sun relative to the black star that I think is in this area, right in here. We are now moving into the right triangle position. We're moving at the outside orbit position. We're swinging out in orbit, and we're just about to pass between the Sun and Jupiter. That's where we are now. See, in Cancer, left side of Cancer, getting ready to go into Leo. Now, what this means for Jupiter is that Jupiter is now coming around in orbit. This is the outside orbit position for Jupiter relative to the black star, which means the magnetic portal connection has already stretched to its maximum length, and now Jupiter is going to start moving towards the black star. All right, the question is, Jupiter moves much more slowly in its orbit than Earth. Is Jupiter going to be able to make up the distance? Is the magnetic portal connection going to shorten, or is it going to remain relatively the same? For Earth, we know the answer. We're going to go to outside orbit position, and that's just about right in here, see? Just about where we're between Jupiter and the Sun. We're going to make the 90-degree angle relative to the black star that is trailing Saturn, right? When that happens, we're going to start moving away. So I saw people saying when the black star turns around in orbit, that's what I'm talking about. Not what I'm talking about. Earth moving away from the black star during this part, that's the lull period, and then towards the black star as we move around in orbit. Whenever we get past, see this first week in February, when we get past this point, we're going to have 6 magnitude earthquakes, just because of passing between this heavy mass object and the Sun. It's only going to be just under 4 astronomical units away from us when that happens. But then we're going to start moving towards the black star, and you're going to see that sudden jump in seismicity and Earth core temperature. This is when Yellowstone is going to start bulging again. We're going to see the Earth changes. And the solar flares we're going to see off the western limb because the black star and its proximity. See, when we're back around here, I'm saying, hey guys, it's going to be the eastern limb because that was this side. But now Earth is coming around in orbit so that we are looking at the Sun from a different direction. Western limb, the right side of the Sun, is going to be the highly active. We're going to come into the kill shot area here around this time, May, you see how May the 20th here? That's my scary time. May the 20th is the black star. This is the place where black star crosses Earth orbit path, making the horseshoe coming in like this. Crosses Earth orbit path. The black star turns around in orbit around here, right? Whenever it is in Pisces, right? That's relative to the black star. Okay, so that's where we are. We are getting ready to make the right triangle between relative to the sun and black star. That is outside orbit position on the winter side, and our 2.5 to 4 magnitude earthquakes are going to be at their minimum. Quake values in general are going to be at their minimum. We get that on this side of the solar system and this side of the solar system. See, around here in July, we were at outside orbit position the other direction. Now remember that these values, backside alignment, outside orbit position, they all continue to move left in the orbit diagram as the black star continues moving left. Black star is now moving 21 degrees left in the orbit diagram per year. 2010 and 11, that was only 21 degrees. 5.5 degrees every 188 days. 188 day cycle was in place, no longer. Remember again, there's a disparity between the near side alignment and the back side alignment. Let me get back over here. There's a disparity between these near side alignment events. See all these big massive earthquakes that took place when we passed between the sun and black star? Right? 7 magnitude or 7 magnitude earthquakes in a 19-day period. Absent now. We're at outside orbit position. Look at all the zeros. Well, these are going to return again. These big values are going to return again 21 days after they did last year. Right? So that's the symmetry in the chart I expect to see. These values are going to go down to 180. I expect to see that too. The recent values were 176, and year over year, this value is increasing. So with this 196 value stay below 200, maybe it's going to be 205. Maybe it's going to be just over 200, because year by year, if you look at these year by year totals, you'll see that they are increasing almost every week. There are a few exceptions, but almost every week. That's what's going on. If we look at Earthquake 3D, then I've been given reports of Dutch Sense that he's predicting earth change, that the uptick that Dutch Sense sees is going to take place 2 to 3 weeks later than he expects. That's the reality of it. So you see this dead area that is returned. This is because we're at the end of the low period. This area contains the linchpin event that I'm warning everybody about. This is going to kick off, and you're going to see reconvergence of these lines. These seismic lines are going to cross each other again once the earth change uptick period begins again. Then there's also a void here in the Pacific Ocean Ring of Fire. This area is quiet for now. Pressure is building up there. On either side, you can see Pacific Ocean Ring of Fire highly, highly, highly active, right? This is the area that I'm really worried about right here. And the quake swarm areas, they are trying to return, but this is still a little bit too early. You're going to see a different picture a month from now. These values are going to be much higher, and you're going to see reconvergence of these lines. And then we'll see. The Yellowstone caldera is simmering right now, but watch after a month from now. Watch, you're going to see that area begin to bulge again, and Mary Greeley is going to start getting very, very excited about what's going on with Yellowstone from February through May. Watch, that's going to happen for sure. Sure, we are nearing outside orbit position, and the Earth change uptick period is getting ready to kick off. We could see a doubling of these 2.5 to 4 magnitude earthquakes within a month. I expect that's going to happen. Last year, if you look at the chart, you'll see that's precisely what happened. These low values, 190, 170, jumped to 536. The following week that we reached outside orbit position, let's watch for that kind of trend, right? And so that's what we're looking at there. I want to apologize to newsletter subscribers. I haven't been myself lately. I haven't been myself since the Hotmail thing happened. I sent notification to everybody through the Hotmail. They shut it down. I cannot get a hold of anybody in at Hotmail to get it. I've even tried using the online gurus and stuff to get my account reinstated, get it back open, and I just have not been able to do so. So between getting the newsletters ready, answering newsletter subscribers each morning, and trying to resolve all this stuff, then switching everything over to my Gmail account, I've sat at this desk for too long, too many hours in a row, and all work and no play is making Terrell a dull boy. I'm getting cranky, and I don't like it myself. And I listened to some of my own commentary there during the recent radio show, and I'm going, man, that guy's on the rag. What is wrong with him? So hopefully I get back to my old self soon. Having having issues, so please bear with me here for a little while, and hopefully things are going to normalize shortly. One thing that we're seeing near outside orbit position that we see every year is the incidence of mass animal deaths, and that's buried in here in the newsletter. There's a So you're going to see an uptick in the mass animal deaths. The reason that happens, let me give you a, let's see, we'll just look at this picture of the world. The reason that happens without as much focus on the earthquake activity is because of the vortex, the magnetic vortex that forms over the magnetic North Pole. Remember, the largest magnetite deposit in the world is under the North Pole, and whenever we get near outside orbit position, let me bring you back over here. As we get to this position over here outside orbit, we have a magnetic portal connection running from the sun to the earth and a magnetic portal connection running from the black star to the earth. As the earth is on back orbit around on this side, they are both connecting and disconnecting on the same side of our planet. When we get to outside orbit position, that changes. That changes. Imagine when we're between the two, the magnetic portal connection between the black star and the earth, and the sun and the earth are on the opposite sides of the planet. They're connecting and disconnecting on regular cycles on the opposite side of the planet. But there's a transition that takes place from the two portal connections on the same side to the opposite sides, and it takes place right here at outside orbit position. Now what happens is you get that vortex that forms. You have, the way I explain it to people, if you're a Trekkie, you can understand it easier when you shoot two of their ray guns at the same spot, different angles. That's what you're getting here, right? And it creates this vortex around the magnetic North Pole, and it bends the magnetic lines. So what happens is you have magnetic lines that are running north and south that, because of this vortex, get bent over the land. So a magnetic line bends over the land like this, and then the animals, the fish, the turtles, the crabs that are following these magnetic lines, they get turned in the wrong direction. That forces them to go east rather than north, or east rather than south, because of the bending of these lines. That means that instead of moving between food sources going north and south, these animals are evolved to travel these distances. Their size and their speed, their fin size, all that stuff, environmental communications, they're all designed to migrate between. Magnetite in their tissues allows them to do that and follow the lines, bend the magnetic lines, and they travel east and west in the wrong direction, and then guess what? They die. What happens is these fish get piled up into these coves because they're following magnetic lines. They push in, and they burn up all the oxygen, and then they die. Here comes the tide, washes the stuff around. The scientists are not able to figure it out of exactly what's going on here. This has to do with magnetism, Earth magnetism being disrupted, and it's akin to the symptoms of the black star vying for magnetic polarity control of our planet. Two stars vying for magnetic polarity control. Black stars in near proximity than far, near than far, because as the Earth is going around the sun has greater influence than less, greater and less. So it's an arm wrestling contest, and the animals are losing. The migrating animals, and then animals higher up the food chain, they're losing too, because they're waiting on food sources that never show up. So I see that I'm running out of time. Again, this link right here, I was going to delete this radio show, but hey, I have good days, I have bad days. I apologize. I'm trying to get myself more together. If you notice in William's video that I recently made, I'm calling him Michael. I just still to this day don't know what's going on, but something's flipped out in something crashed in my brain. I'm trying to reboot and get things back in regular order. So I will be appearing on Liberation Nation with Deacon John here. I may be running the show, and here's the call-in numbers, information, and I will be giving you a brand new, fresh Black Star Update report, pretty much what you're hearing right here, but in an expanded